That's what you got to realize about that 70% marginal tax rate thing. That's not to pay for anything.
No.
That is literally to try to fix the scales being tipped. You're still going to be filthy fucking rich, guys on top. It's just that there's not going to be such a goddamn gap between everybody.
But here's the thing: like you look at Bezos,
you'll have a chance to become rich enough.
Look at Bezos. Look at Gates. Look at these super, just unbelievably wealthy people. Bill Gates tomorrow could wake up and open his checkbook up and say, to the kids graduating in 2019, I'm going to pay for your college. Here you go. And it's not going to put him in the poorhouse.
No, instead he's working on giving people polio.
And he's working on getting, some third world country, some guy a goat.
Dude. And on top of that, really what the problem is that when you have like Bezos cash, you can make other billionaires. You're now your own style of vampire, right?
Exactly. That's what
Make another billionaire. And on top of that, you have enough money to have a private army. You have enough money to compete with whole countries over shit. And when you have that kind of cash, it's about time to say, that's too much motherfucking money. Individuals are not supposed to operate that way. It's not okay. The game is not to stack the dollars so high that when you die, God gets a tip. The name of the game is that you can obviously do better, do worse. If you really want to have luxurious stuff, you work harder and make more money and save up and get it, that kind of stuff, right? But it's not like he's at the point where he could stop moving and still make more money than the rest of us combined. That's not right. There's a problem with a system that's like that. That is letting greed rule, and that's not how life should be.
No, and then again, going to the whole vampire thing is like I can't remember who it does. He does the vampire economy posts on Facebook. Those are really interesting, and it's true. These fucking people just hoard and hoard and hoard and hoard wealth and money, so they can get influence to then turn around and fuck with politics, so they can keep more and more and more and more. And it's like, at what point does that more and more and more? It's never enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the problem that I see. And yet then you start looking at where he's got his warehouses and where he's got this, and it's that 1900s model of the company store where he's got employees who are locked into, and that's it. The community has bent over backwards and fucking given him, tax-free exemption for this, and doesn't pay property tax on his properties and corporate welfare, to the point where not only has his cost for that been covered in that tax break and that corporate welfare, but now he's going to make a profit on top of the employees have already been paid out of the tax break as far as numbers are concerned. So now he's just pure profiting it.
Yeah, like every dollar he has is like two people.
Exactly, and it's to the point now where he just said he's going to go there, and now he's making $3, $4, $5, $6 for every $1 of his he puts in, and that makes no goddamn sense.
Well, for one of those pictures to hold, blackmail, I'd totally blackmail him, wouldn't you? You heard about that, right?
Yeah, and you know what? That's the thing that gets me is blackmail.
I don't think he's
extortion.
actually doing blackmail, by the way.
If he is a fucking piece of shit who is fucking people over and purposely paying slave fucking wages and purposely harming the fucking workforce, how is that blackmail? That is fucking statement of fact.
Oh, no. I just mean that like they have naked pictures of him and they're gonna print them in a tabloid, and he's claiming that he's being blackmailed right now.
Yeah, and that's what Trump, and that's exactly, and that's what Trump said when they found out he was fucking a porn star. Stars, excuse me. Oh, they're going to blackmail me. You did bad shit, and people need to know that you did bad shit because you're putting yourself out there as, I'm a good guy. Right. No, you're not. You're a fucking piece of shit who treats people like shit, and you have this fucking narcissistic mindset that your money you know what I mean? We only give you value because we think that we have to value dollars.
Yeah.
And it's like
a social construct.
Exactly. Oh, social construct. So socialism and money can go hand in hand.
Uh-huh.
And that was
one
of the
people can actually have lots of nice stuff too.
Right. And that's one of the things about the State of the Union that fucking bothered me is it was so hypocritical and bipolar in its very fucking nature. In one breath, he's talking about how people need to come together. This is our chance. Oh, but hey, we're going to put more money into war efforts.
Yeah.
Why is he talking to Afghanistan? Afghanistan didn't do shit to us. We invaded them after 9/11. We didn't invade the Saudis, who 7 out of the 9 fucking guys on the plane were Saudi nationals. We didn't go fuck with Saudi Arabia. Why not?
Well, because Saudi Arabia is helping us control the rest of the Middle East that doesn't like Israel. And as far as Afghanistan is concerned, I'm pretty convinced that we got that opioid crisis going on. And we can't have fentanyl if we don't have a crazy war going on that's allowing us to... I have a theory that we're using planes just like Air America, and we're you know what I mean? We're just flying drugs back. So
here's my question is when they start talking, when he starts throwing out that big word fentanyl and the southern border, he's not addressing the fact that all the fentanyl is mostly coming out of China.
Yep.
Pharmaceutical grade fentanyl comes out of China. Well, wait a minute, let's think about this. Where do they get the opium to make it?
Ooh, I don't know, maybe Afghanistan?
And who's running Afghanistan?
That would be us and those religious fuckers.
Oh, so now China's somehow getting this, right?
But they're not Muslim. And
right.
Wait, they're not the United States. How? And we're supposed to be fighting China because Red China and we hate China. And you know what? Everyone's playing a fucking role, dude. I'm not saying that it's all orchestrated. I am saying that the way rich people manipulate, the way any person who is selfish, it doesn't have to be rich people. There are nice rich people out there, believe it or not. But the way any person who is selfish would manipulate a system that they're in control of would be in order to benefit themselves. And selfish, by definition, means they don't think about others. So that means whatever's happening to everybody else wasn't planned, but they also don't give a fuck. So what you do to fight back is to do exactly the opposite, right?
Well, and that's the thing.
We just let the selfish people control it. And that's why we have fentanyl moving into China. That's why we have all the opium crisis. And that's why we're still at war with a bunch of people we have no business being at war with.
Right. And that's the thing that the whole State of the Union that I found. It was just in one breath talking about this and in the next breath not realizing that you're making the very point that you are the cause of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so then he talks about healthcare and cheaper pharmaceutical drugs and how in his years as president, prices dropped. You're full of shit. Prices spiked this year. 6 companies that fucking make most of the drugs that people need to live on every goddamn day, whether it's insulin or EpiPens or heart meds or whatever, spiked their prices 30 to 40%.
Aren't they the most profitable companies in our country as well?
Exactly. And when AOC,
they're on the top of the forum. Yeah.
Who really needs to start wearing a goddamn cape, pressed the National Institute of Health about, well, why is it that we use taxpayer money to pay for research to then turn over and hand that research over the groundwork, the very essence of creation, over to a pharmaceutical company to then turn around and use that research to make that drug to then sell to people at exorbitant amounts of money? That makes no fucking sense. That is reverse socialism back to that industry. You're using my tax money that we paid into taxes.
No. Sorry, I'm never going to let that fly again.
No. I'm talking about we pay for the research.
Well, okay, but like the federal government paid for the research, right? Or is she saying it was research that was conducted by states?
It is research that has been funded by taxpayers' money.
Okay, and what I'm saying is taxpayers' money doesn't fund research. Taxpayer money doesn't fund anything. Taxpayer.
Well, no, I get that. Okay, fine. The government.
Let's find a new way to say it. That's all.
Okay, well, the government paid for it.
Okay, yeah, that's the government paid for it, and we are the government, so it's ours. I will agree with that.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that would be like me and you coming up with this awesome, which we need to sit down one day and actually do, this awesome D&D version style of game, but we'll call it Politico.
Yep.
Right? We do all of the work, and then we turn around and for free give it to Mattel, and they fucking make it, and they sell it, and they make all the money. We wouldn't do that. Would you do that?
No. Well, maybe if Mattel came and said to me personally, hey, if you vote this way, we'll give you a job when you're done being a representative.
Well, that's the whole problem.
And I'll bet that happened.
Exactly. And again, she's showing how the sausage is fucking made.
Yep.
That the federal government is paying for discovery and research and then giving it to one industry or one company to then turn around and use that research that they didn't do to then turn around and make something to sell to the American people at an exorbitant price and continuously make money for one individual or one individual corporation.
That reminds me of the telecommunications industry and how they used tax dollars, both state tax dollars and the federal government's money made from thin air. I'm just saying that to piss off some people in the world. Anyway, they used the people and our resources in order to create the fiber optic systems that we have, partly because they spent their money, but then they got tax breaks from the government, so that way they were able to keep more of their trinkets, right? So they got to keep all their trinkets, or most of their trinkets, as they built the infrastructure for us because we said go do it. And now they're able to charge us whatever the hell they want, and they're able to make multi-tiered systems because they took away net neutrality. It's absolute nonsense, and it's the same thing with every single industry.
Well,
every
but that's
we subsidize industry. That's just a hallmark for, hey, by the way, we just gave them socialized money, and now they're going to get capitalized profits.
Exactly. So do not tell me that we're not a socialist fucking country, because on the other end, for the rich, exactly, and that's the thing that fucking bothers me. I mean, like a good analogy would be like, it is an infrastructure. It'd be like the roads, like when I can't remember who it was, the New Deal. Fuck, I can't remember the name of the president. Yeah, FDR. When he came up with the interstate system for roadways, that was paid. And instead of saying taxpayer money, I like what you said is the people's resource. The people's resources produce that. Yeah. Right. Our labor, our materials, our stuff. Right. The money was just a way for everybody to agree that it happened. Right. Now, if you've ever been in an argument with a neighbor or whatever, you can stand in the road and go, fuck you, this is public property. You can't tell me to fuck off. I'm standing in the road, or I'm standing on the sidewalk. I'm standing in a public, something for everyone. So go fuck yourself. Right. Yeah. Okay. They did that. Same thing, like you were talking about with the fiber optic network, and then they turned around and gave it to a corporation. That would be like if we went back in time and told FDR, well, when you get all the roads built across this great nation, and the highway system and the interstate system and this, that, the other, once it's all built and everything else, then we're going to give it to Chevron. He'd look at you and be like, he'd stab you with his fucking fountain pen and be like,
he would have hit you over the head with his wheelchair.
Exactly. But that's what we're doing now, and no one is fucking seeing it. And everyone's like, well, we gave him all this stuff, and now he's a fucking trillionaire, and he did it by his own bootstraps. No, you gave him everything, and now he's a success, which is the Oompa Loompa, sweet potato Hitler, fucking orange turd, raccoon eye having. I swear to God, he's a villain, and that's why his eyes, he's probably got a fucking mask. He sits on butt naked in the Oval Office with a fucking 3/4 of a fucking inch chubber in his supervillain mask, talking about how can I fuck people over as he tweets about, people. That's what I think happens in the Oval Office.
I think that might be right.
But like I said, is I'm watching all of that.